I actually did watch this, like, I think it was last month or so, and I've been meaning to, talk about this. This is an interesting, show. It's, Pamela Anderson, I guess, in her I don't know where she was at. It looks like she was in some beach house in Canada or somewhere with a bunch of VHS tapes, just, reminiscing like a hermit or something, and, I don't know, like, it was kinda I don't know, it was mostly sad, but I guess, like, her whole point is that, like, "Oh, I made it out of Hollywood or something, and I survived and all this," and I don't know. I don't think she had it as hard as how she's putting it on this thing, but, that's just me. I've actually met her at the car convention that they used to have here at the San Diego Convention Center, and this was back in the 90s, like Baywatch time in her prime, man. And let me tell you, um, if I've ever seen a 10, that was a 10. Like, I just could not. I mean, I've seen a lot of beautiful women, okay, but like that, I mean, when she came out of that side door thing, man, every guy in that entire floor he- head their head was turned, man. They were looking. There was not one guy that was not looking, man, when she came out of that side door. Anyways, it's just mostly her playing these VHS tapes, and she's just bitching about Tommy Lee and oh, woe is me, and Tommy was an asshole and all that. I mean, dude, we who doesn't know that Tommy Lee isn't an asshole? I mean, even his own fucking kids on there were like saying, "Yeah, he was a piece of shit, and he smacked my mom around, and all of this," and just like, wow, you know. I mean, I don't understand these women like this. Like, Amaranth, I noticed it was the same way with her and that guy. It's like, I don't know. They on one hand they're like overconfident about themselves, but then when it comes to love, they're like scraping the bottom of the barrel. When they're, like, I mean, she's like a 10, and that Tommy Lee guy is just like a, I don't know. He's a fucking zero as far as I'm concerned. He's just a total piece of shit. And then she talked about being married to Kid Rock, and so get this, she's complaining that the problem with Kid Rock was that they were too much of friends. Imagine that, man. You get with Pamela Anderson, and then her complaint to divorce you is that you're more friends than lovers. And it's like, well, what, you wanted Kid Rock to beat you too or something? Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. But I can't really talk about, like, when she's talking about her childhood on here because how do I put this? She gets into some pretty nasty stuff that happened to her as a child and growing up, and how it affected her life and all this, and she um she thinks that's why, like, all her marriages fail is because of her childhood, and I don't know. It was just I don't really. I mean, yeah, her childhood, I guess, but everything else was just mainly her having low self-esteem, man. It's like I was saying, Amaranth and her are really a lot alike, and they do the same thing. Like when Amaranth was sitting there crying about that fucking loser, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm gonna kill your dogs, and I'm gonna put your horses in a meat grinder, and blah blah blah." And it's like, I don't understand why these gals do this stuff, man. And like I said, there was not a single guy in the convention center whose head was not turned. Even my boss at the time, they all. It was I never seen that before. I mean, normally, like when a celebrity comes out and stuff, they're just kind of like doing their work, man. But when she came out of that side door, like I'll never forget that, man. Like I just had to see it, man. Like I didn't care if I got fired. I just like I have to see this shit, man. And then here she is, comes out the side door and goes over and she's talking with the Chevy dealership guy about the car, and she's looking at the car and all this. And I mean, my God, man. She was one hell of a woman. I mean, she still looks okay here, I guess, but you can tell she's got like, you know, look at the cheeks and everything there. But back in the day, man, her in her prime, I mean, phew, you'd be hard pressed to find me something as hot as Pam Anderson back in the day, man. But anyways, she just continues on with the movie, and she goes through all the shows, and she talks about barbed wire. And man, that barbed wire movie, what a pile of shit that movie was. And she was so excited for it and all of this, and then it bombed, and then she went through this whole depression stage about movies and doing things. And I don't know. I mean, at the end, I guess she seems like she's like come to terms with things and stuff, and she just lives on that lake house, I guess, watching VHS tapes all day. Why you don't go get those converted to DVDs or something, I don't know, because VHS eventually falls apart, and she's not going to have that shit anymore. Like, she should get those converted to digital, so at least she still has the copies of it. But I mean, it was an interesting show. It wasn't boring or anything. It's just her in her own words. Oh, she talks about that movie, the recent one where they had that show about her and the sex tape and all that. And she said it brought up all the old feelings of what happened when it really happened. And her biggest complaint about the sex tape and that show is she didn't get any money from it. Not that it was out there. Like, that wasn't her concern. Her concern was she didn't get any money from it. Oh, and then they showed the lawsuit thing when she was trying to sue, I forget who it was. It was some, I think it was like a pornographer or something that actually had the tape, and the guy offered her like $5 million for it, and she says, no, it's worth more than that. And then they went to court, and she dropped the court case. The lawyer was even on there going, she probably would have won the case, but she dropped the case because towards the end she said it was tearing her family apart and all this. It wasn't that was tearing her family apart. It was Tommy Lee being a drunk asshole that tore her family apart. But she wants to blame it on that. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Follows the life of pop culture icon Pamela Anderson, including never before seen archival footage. And yeah, she just sits there watching all these VHS tapes like that. That was the part that I thought was sad. Was I'm assuming that was Canada where she's living. She lives out on some lake somewhere, and she's got this beat or a lake house, I guess you'd call it, on these stilts or something. And she's in there by herself, and it just looks like a hoarding fest in there. like a homeless person or something, and she's just sitting in there watching VHS tape. Like I felt bad for her about that. I was like, wow, this is how Pamela Anderson's living now. In some lake house in Canada, like a hoarder watching VHS tapes, reminiscing about the good old days, huh? Okay. But anyways, that was pretty much the show. It was just her in her own words talking about it, and she's like trying to come off like she's this really bad victim and all of this stuff. I mean, what happened to her as a kid, I can understand that, but all that other stuff, it was just her being stupid and marrying these idiots. Like, I think she was married 4 or 5 times on there. They were going through all the marriages on there, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. How many marriages have you had? Oh, Barbed Wire. That was a god awful movie, Barbed Wire, man. Yeah. Oh, there she is on Barat. There's that loser. Yeah, back in the day, man. I mean, I remember watching those Baywatches and all that, man, and she was just like I said, man. Every guy in that the bottom floor of the convention center, they had their fucking head turned. What was this? Oh, is this How I Met Your Mother? Oh no, some other movie. Yeah, she is on Baywatch. Hulk Hogan's on Baywatch. Oh, the other thing on there too is what was that guy, the WikiLeaks guy? She was talking about him on there and how she really admires him and all this stuff and was almost gonna marry him and all this, and then he went to jail or whatever. Oh, this gal in the middle. I forgot about this one. This gal here, yeah, Yasmin Bleeth. She was at the con center too at the car show thing. She was one of the gals up that got up there and would sell the car. She was pretty fucking hot too, man, but not as hot as Pamela though. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. She says on there that Tim Allen tried to grope her or something. I forgot about Home Improvement, how she was on there. Oh, that was that god awful show. What was that show called? Oh yeah, VIP. Fuck, that was a god awful show, man. She was like this private investigator lady, and she had this like little team, and they were being hired to do things. Man, it was just god awful. It was like they took Barbed Wire and made it a show, man. 442 picks. Oh yeah, she's on Scream. Forgot about that. There's Jenny McCarthy. You know the problem with Barbed Wire was is that Barbed Wire would be like a role for Gina Carano or Katie Sackhoff, but they wouldn't be sexy enough to pull it off. But Pamela has the reverse problem. She's too hot, but you can't see her being like this badass fighting chick or whatever. Not bad. Oh fuck, I remember this. I had a poster of this shit. I think it might still be in the fucking garage. Yeah, I have but the difference is there's a van in the back, like not a van, a lifeguard thing or whatever. Might even be signed by her if I remember right. I have to look. Playboy. It's Julian Assange. One hell of a woman, man. I'll tell you that. I just like I said though, I noticed that these women, man, these really high tier ones, even Amaranth, they tend to be overconfident about most things, but then when it comes to love, they tend to lose all their confidence for some reason. It's really weird. Could you imagine being like this kid's age or whatever, and you're friends with this kid, and you're going over, and here's Pamela Anderson baking cookies and shit. Oh, she's on Futurama. Oh, this fucking loser, man. Is Tommy Lee even alive anymore? I don't even know if that fucking guy's alive anymore. You know what's funny? She talks about when she met him. So she's talking about like this friend of hers dragged her to this nightclub, and she's in the VIP with them, and Tommy Lee starts fighting with the VIP security or whatever, and he's trying to get up there. And then Pamela and her friend, they go over there. They're like, "What's the problem?" and all this, and it's like, "Oh, Tommy Lee is trying to get in here, and he won't take no for an answer, and all this." And then she's like, "Oh, well, I let him come up there, and we were talking for a while, and then he just started sending me flowers, and then oh, she was talking about how he got in a fight. I can't remember who the person was. I don't think it was David Hasselhoff, but she had a kissing scene. So this is good. This is pretty funny. So she was kissing one of the co-stars or something. It was in a storyline or something, and she said Tommy Lee went and busted into this guy's trailer and tried to beat the shit out of him, and nearly got his ass killed. And security had to take him, and he wasn't allowed to be on the set of Baywatch anymore. And then he threatens her about, if you do any more love scenes, then I'm gonna divorce you and all this. And she was just like, I just couldn't believe that, and I thought I was gonna get fired off Baywatch. And it's like I said, man, these high end women, I see this a lot, man. Even at the gym, I just laugh because you can just tell, like when you look at guys like Tommy Lee in this, you're just like, okay. Anyways, that's pretty much it, man. Like I really liked her back in the day. I mean, she was pretty good. She was good on Baywatch, you know. I mean, I'll give her that. Barbed Wire sucked ass. I think it was called VIP, that other show. That was god awful. I mean, if you watched it on mute, I guess it'd be okay. But I mean, it was just fucking god awful, man. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. She starts talking about the PETA bullshit, and how she was trying to destroy SeaWorld and all this. And, Oh well. What is the what is the last thing she was in here? Does it say on here? What is uh 2022 Alone at Night? She plays a sheriff. Hmm. Pamela Anderson as a sheriff. The hell is Ashley Benson? Anyways, she was in that Baywatch movie? I don't remember her being in that Baywatch movie. Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen her. Gosh, I can't remember the last movie I saw except for this documentary thing. I honestly forgot she even existed until that documentary thing came out because I just hadn't thought much about her. I know I should have watched that Tommy Lee and her sex tape show they made with I can't stand Seth Rogen though. That's the problem with that. Anyways, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, it was an interesting show, but I don't know, like her childhood, I guess I feel bad for her, but at the end, man, like I just felt so bad for her. Like she's living like a hermit in that freaking lake house, just watching VHS tapes all day, reminiscing. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.